Welcome to Let's Talk Pets with your host, Linda Weston, right here on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub.
Good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Pets, a fun program. Very happy to be part of the fabulous Hub family lineup of programs. I'm Linda Weston, your host from Friends of Cookeville-Putnam County Animals, a nonprofit, totally volunteer support group for the Cookeville-Putnam County Animal Shelter. This morning, my co-host, Sarah Hollick-Webb from Friends of Cookeville-Putnam County Animals. She's with me here in the studio, and we are very happy to welcome back one of our favorite guests, Miss Karen Ritacco. Karen is the owner of Cumberland Pet Essentials, and she is going to talk to us about grooming, health tips, and the most important, nutrition for your pets. So, Sarah, before we get started, let's take a minute and thank our sponsors who make this show possible.
We are grateful to Pet Supplies Plus, located in the Walmart Shopping Center.
And Copeland Veterinary Hospital on 10th Street with 24-hour emergency service.
And Cumberland Pet Essentials, offering pet grooming, styling and spa, holistic foods, nutritional counseling, and pet boutique at 142 South Willow in the Willow Tree Plaza.
And Friends of Cookeville-Putnam County Animals. So many thanks to each of these groups. So now we get to say welcome back and good morning to Cumberland Pet Essentials owner, Mrs. Karen Ritacco. Good morning, Karen. So glad to have you back with us.
Good morning. Thank you. It's always good to be here. I enjoy it.
It's fun to see you. Gosh, we should let Karen do the
Cumberland Pet Essentials intro.
Yeah. Well, now that we're getting into, I guess we're in springtime and summer's fast approaching, I bet you are pretty darn busy getting pets shaped up for summer with their summer dues.
We are. I mean, we've been seeing the winter pets because that part is, getting all that winter coat out. We've already gone through that. Now we're at the stage where they're coming in like, can we get them a little bit shorter? Because it's getting warmer out. So...
Yep. Right.
Well, people can sometimes forget how much a good grooming can help them and their pets just in daily life, because your pet can be so much easier to live with if you keep them groomed and cleaned up. I mean, they feel better, they smell better, they look better. Often they shed less with good grooming. So, this is something that we need to constantly remember to just keep in mind and keep on a groomer schedule, because you guys do stay so booked up. And also, groomers can tell us a lot about our pets' health, from the condition of their coat, their skin, funny little growths that you guys see. It's amazing what you guys pick up, because you are touching them from head to tail, literally, on every inch of them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we see them usually more than their veterinarian does, and we do find things on them. And anything that's out of the normal from the time previously, we always point it out to the owner, and so they can get it checked out. And so, yeah, that does happen pretty often, or changes in skin, anything, little growths that show up.
Ear infections. I know groomers spot a lot of ear infections and gland issues and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly, I mean, a lot of our pets' issues can show in their skin. It's amazing how many of their allergies and just general health issues show up in their skin and coat before we, as pet owners, can see, evidence of other symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, just recently with all the growth with the rain and the sun and all the growth of the weeds and all the little thistles and things that are out there, anytime you take your dog for a walk, they come back with a whole host of things stuck to them. So, yeah, grooming is very, very important, because I've just noticed the last week with my little guy, he's coming back with all kinds of things stuck to him, and I try to get most of it off, but there's a trail through my house of his stuff, so he's going to be very anxious to see you over the next couple days.
Well, I know that just in pet ownership and having friends that owns pets and all of that, and one of the common complaints that we hear in the spring is that when a pet goes in for their spring groom, that shorter puppy cut and all the the shorter styles that they like, people see evidence of skin problems, a lot of flaking, I guess from the winter. Is that something that you commonly see in the spring, is just stuff that maybe got overlooked? Or?
We do, because a lot of times people, they don't have their dogs groomed as often in the winter, and so that coat that dead hair collects under there, and the skin cannot breathe. And so it does cause a lot of skin issues, and it can end up drying them out. And then if they're house dogs, with the heat in the winter can also dry them out, and the owners may not be able to see that because you've got all that packed down fur. So winter grooming is just as important as summer grooming. And you got to get that undercoat out. Otherwise, they have this blanket, and it gets wet, and it stays wet, and it's moist against the skin, and they can get all kinds of skin problems with that.
Yeah, we've seen lots of nasty infections and blisters and things like that just from matting. People think, oh, it's just a mat, I'll cut it out, or they think that it's a simple problem. It's really not. It holds a lot of moisture, a lot of bacteria. It gets really nasty, and it can cause some really bad skin problems that can sometimes, you have to go to the vet and get antibiotics and other issues once that mat is removed. So we need to remember that constant maintenance is key to keeping our pets healthy.
We've also seen, and this is gross, but maggots in dogs where the hair has been so matted and then moist, especially around where they use the bathroom, and that that just stays there, and it just flies lay their eggs, and then you got to send them to the vet, and they've got to get that all cleaned out. But that's an issue with some of the heavier coated breeds.
Well, and too, in the spring, I'm walking in here with like my itchy eyes and my watering, all of that too. But our pets also experience allergies. Sometimes it's food allergies. Sometimes it is seasonal allergies, just like what we experience. And sometimes that can be made evident in their coat and licking their paws and all of this stuff that's on their surface.
Yeah, and their weepy eyes too. So, and that's why, and we're going to go into this a little bit later, but if we can keep a healthy immune system, we can do better with allergies and things, because a dog might be able to handle a certain amount of allergies, but then when they're bombarded, and you talk about the little critters attached to his coat, but the unseen ones, the pollen that we see on our car, that the dogs are breathing in, and it's all over their fur. And another good reason to get them groomed, to get that pollen washed off of them. Right. And we have really good shampoos that are soapless, and you can use them more frequently. Shampoos years ago used to be harsh, but there's really good products out there today. So,
well, folks, for all of our listeners at home, Karen, of course, is a professional groomer, having been in this profession for how many years now?
Over 4 decades.
Over 4 decades. Knows her stuff, believe me. But it's good to know that she is also a certified pet food nutrition specialist. So I can't tell you, Sarah and I have sent so many people over to you when they'll come to us and say, my pet has a problem, there's something wrong with their coat or whatever, and we'll say, go see Karen, go talk to her, because there's just a lot that can be changed with a little change in diet. So can you talk about examples or pets that you've helped, that you've seen change in with just changing their diets?
Yeah, of course, we don't diagnose. And so once they have seen their doctor and know what they're dealing with, it's good to make those food changes. And it's very easy to make those food changes. And a lot of times we do see a difference, because we can treat the symptoms over and over again. But it's really nice to get down to the source of the issue. And even if it's seasonal allergies that are really bothering them, if you can heal their gut, because our gut is our gut's a mess, and ours is too, because of the foods we eat, and they're just not healthy. And so with 80% of our immune system being in our gut, it's really important to keep our gut healthy too with what we eat. So that's why sometimes changes can help. And also, like elimination diets, we've seen elimination diets where the dogs just will eat like one protein, like just eliminate everything else, eliminate treats. And it's an easy way to see if the dog gets better over the next month or two sometimes. Yeah. So we just, that's a slower process. So we need our doctors, we need a diagnosis, we need a treatment. But then if there's some way we can kind of fix the source of the issue, or give strengthen their body and their immune system so that they can better fight the things off.
So it's a complete jungle out there as far as food selection. If anyone's been through a pet store, you know that now there are aisles and aisles and aisles dedicated to specialty foods. And on the surface, it all kind of looks the same. I think we can, as a consumer, our eyes just kind of glaze over when we look at the main ingredient, and then we look at, there's so many key hot topics now. Grain-free is such a big thing right now. And so we look for these kind of key things, but often we're not really seeing the whole story. When we're in a store just kind of trying to read labels, and we're trying to be responsible. So it's so much better, I think, to go to someone like you that has a business that has been in this for years, that knows the distributors, that understands where the products are sourced and all of that, rather than us trying to, go it on our own.
Yeah, so there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it was really hard to tell the difference just by reading labels. But I will say one thing that will help dogs a lot, especially cats too, is low carbohydrate dry food. If you're going to feed a kibble, because some of these kibbles they have carbohydrates of 50%. That turns to sugar. That is a lot of sugar in your body for a dog or a cat to be eating, and especially cats. Dogs can handle and digest some of that. Cats have a lot harder time with that. So,
is it going to say on the label
no
that percentage of carbohydrates?
No, but there is a formula that you can figure out, because everything has to add to 100.
Okay.
So you take the protein. I might leave something out because it's not in front of me. The fat contents, the moisture, the fiber, and the ash, which isn't always listed. The ash is usually 6 or 7%.
Okay.
So let's say all of that adds up to 60.
Okay.
What's left is 40. That's a good indication you got about 40% carbohydrates.
Is that
which
right?
is high.
Yeah.
Which is high. So, and there are some dry foods around the 20% that would be better.
Okay.
A lot of them are in the 30s. Some of them out there are, like I said, 40, 50, 55, which is pretty crazy.
It's just filler, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm. I think the same thing happens when we read labels as humans. We see this, all organic, whatever, and it's like, and you flip over and you actually look at the breakdown on the back, and it's like, there's like 47% carbohydrates.
Right.
So it can be shocking, and I think we all have to be a little bit more educated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is so much more to talk about with this, and Karen, we're going to do more of this just after the break. So, folks, don't go away. We want you to stay with us and hear the rest of this, all that Karen's going to tell us about ingredients that you can add to your pet's diet. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Pets on News Talk 107.7 and 1400, The Hub.
Copeland Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital, including 24-hour emergency assistance, and is located at 821 East 10th Street in Cookeville, focusing on providing the highest quality care to clients and patients through our devotion to client communication, commitment to excellent medical care, and use of innovative diagnostics. Founded in 1970, our veterinarians and support staff can provide a progressive, beneficial, and effective impact on your pet's health. Open Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon, and closed on Sunday.
Pet Supplies Plus, located in the Walmart Shopping Center on South Jefferson, is open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, specializing in pet foods, treats, and edible chews, pet toys, and apparel, pet supplies of all kinds, grooming and health, as well as flea and tick items, offering all major brands and a large selection of natural foods and treats made in the USA. Fish, reptiles, ferrets, and other very small pets available.
Cumberland Pet Essentials has been serving Middle Tennessee since 1989, offering dog and cat grooming and styling. In their natural pet market, they sell dog and cat supplies, accessories, and high-quality trusted brands of food and treats. Owner Karen Ritacco is an ISCC certified pet stylist and a certified pet nutritionist. She offers free nutritional counseling, helping owners make healthier choices for their pets. Their store hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5 p.m., located at 142 South Willow Avenue in the Willow Tree Plaza. Give them a call, 931-528-7711, Cumberland Pet Essentials.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Pets with me, your host, Linda Weston, and Cookeville Putnam County Animals Vice President Sarah Hollick-Webb on News Talk 107.7 and 1400, The Hub. So Sarah and I have been talking today with Karen Ritacco, who is a certified pet nutritionist, groomer with, what did we say, 4 decades of experience, and owner of Cumberland Pet Essentials. So we were just in the middle of talking about ingredients good for your pets.
Yeah, so we were, right before we went to break, we were talking about just kind of things to watch out for in your pet's kibble. And so much of us do feed, pretty much a basically dry food diet. But there's also ways to keep it interesting for your pet and to add supplements and to add good stuff into your pet's diet to make it just better all around for them, a better experience.
Yeah, so one of the downfalls to kibble is there's no moisture. It's highly processed with no moisture. So a lot of us are into making bone broths and things like that. And unless you have a dog that's had bladder stones, because it is got the bone and it's higher, but that's a great thing to add to your pet's diet.
Okay.
Yeah, and to just feed them as a treat or add to the food. If you're making, steaming green beans, that's a great thing. You can give them like that type of thing, along with even blueberries and things. You've got to break them down by either in a bullet or lightly steaming them, because dogs do not have the enzymes to digest the cellular wall of vegetables like that as well. So it's better to put it in a form where they can absorb that. And then they're getting some antioxidants and some really live foods, which they're not getting in the kibble at all. It's just it's highly processed, But kibble is cheap and it's convenient, and that's why the majority of people feed kibble. So there are things you could do to enhance.
And dogs love all of these little extras. This is an incredible, really special treat for them, and especially in this time of year where there are so many things coming into season. Blueberries are in season right now. There are so many things that you can easily add that are just very readily available at your grocery store. I would caution people to be careful to not buy canned green beans or canned bone broth or something like that, just because there are additives in there, and the salt content, the sodium content on this stuff can be so high, and of course we don't need that. Our pets don't need it. None of us need it. But certainly, make sure that you're conscious of giving them the whole foods rather than things that have already been processed or canned in the grocery store.
I was just going to say, when you said that about salt, it just reminded me of something kind of funny. When you're reading like a food that might have blueberries in it, like a kibble that has some of those things, they're always below the salt. And I think salt can't be more than like 1% or something. So there might be like one blueberry in that whole ground up 25-pound bag of food.
So one dehydrated blueberry ground up.
Well, that's like cereal. It's exact. Well, I think too, you can experiment. Sarah, I think we had someone on the show, I think it was one of our vets, who said he'd never met a dog who didn't like green beans, I think it was. Do you remember that?
And Dr. Barker had mentioned that. One of the
Well, so I offered a green bean to my little guy. He would have nothing to do with it. Nothing. So it's like, test your pet,
Yeah, there's my guys love just boiled sweet potatoes. That's one of their favorite treats.
Okay.
No, you don't have to add anything to it. I just kind of dice them up, chop them up, and boil them, and they love them.
Do you mash them up or just stir them in the kibble?
I used to mash them up, but I've kind of gotten over that. It's like being a child parent. By the third child, you get a little bit looser.
Forget the blender.
You get a little looser with what you do.
Well, what about like other carrots and things like that? You boil them? Is that before you give it to them?
Yeah, and carrots, a lot of people give them to the dogs to chew on, which is fine. But anything like that, one of the things about carrots is they could get impacted if they ate a big chunk of carrot and it didn't break down.
Okay.
So steam them. They can get more out of it. Okay. And actually, carrots is one of the vegetables that we get more out of it when we lightly cook them.
Okay.
We get more nutrients out of it.
Well, when I've tried to give Kramer a carrot, he'll take it, but he'll take it to another part of the house to try and chew on it. And then, what happens? You find little carrots. So it's like, no, we're not doing that. So I think probably boiling it, steaming it, something like that, and mashing it up would probably be the deal. What other things would you recommend adding to, if you're just feeding a dry kibble, what else works?
Well, my dogs don't eat kibble, but I do feed every day. It's a raw fermented goat milk. And that is loaded with probiotics and loaded with enzymes, which is something they don't get in their food. And goat milk is a complete food. So
really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, and I'm not saying to do this, but I know of a dog who had pancreatic cancer, and she would not eat. The only thing she would drink was, and it wasn't a dog that I personally knew. I knew somebody who was helping this person, and the only thing she would eat was the goat milk, and she lived, last I knew, 6 years. She was still alive with pancreatic cancer and only drinking that goat milk. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying it's a whole food. It's a great thing to add to your pet's diet too. My dogs all get it.
So is it something that you pour over
You
other
can,
food,
or you can give
is
it as a treat.
Okay.
It is pretty amazing. Because like what Karen was talking about, all the good enzymes in it, and all the good probiotics in it, and like we were talking about over break, is there's so many things that are centralized in your gut, in your pet's gut. All your immune system comes out of your gut. So things like goat milk and things that have all these great enzymes and probiotics in them just helps them overall. It helps their immune system. It helps their coat. It helps just their overall well-being. So it's a kind of a multi-pronged attack when you can get things that make the gut healthy.
Yeah, it helps to heal the gut. And yeah, so with the goat milk, like we've seen just that change in maybe taking, like a dog would come in and his diet is chicken. A lot of dogs can't handle chicken.
Okay.
They get a lot of skin issues, and it's not necessarily allergy. It's just some kind of a weird sensitivity that they can get itchy skin from it. So you just get them on a protein they've not been on before, and they've added the goat milk, and they've gotten better. And also, not goat milk from the store. That is all pasteurized. Dogs can't handle that. That's really hard on the digestive system. Okay. Any kefir, like yogurts, things like that, people feed them to their dogs. The yogurts aren't really that beneficial in the store because they don't have very many probiotics. And
of course,
a lot of them have got high sugars. Like there's more. I was reading a thing about how much sugar is in some of the yogurts that we eat. It's a crazy amount.
Well, the wonderful thing is that now, in years past, things like this were not easily accessible to us. To have goat milk readily available. We have so many wonderful farmers markets now around Cookeville, Sparta. Pretty much every small town now we see has, these wonderful organic based farmers markets. And now we have goat milk straight from the farm unpasteurized available to us. When in years past we would have to travel to Nashville or we'd have to go somewhere else in order to attain these things. So now it's readily available. You're doing a great thing for your pet. You're supporting local, and it's all good. It's great for everyone.
Well, I was surprised when, Karen, you and I were talking the other day, and you said you started out with one freezer or a refrigerator.
We started out with the just the freezer part of a refrigerator, and that's where we had the fermented goat milk. That's what we started off with, and that's what we had learned a great deal about. Then we went to a small countertop freezer. Then we went to a big, solid freezer. Just one like we have at home, the big one. Then we got a chest freezer. Then we got two more of the upright freezers. Then we got two double glass door freezers, and we have a third one coming, because people are understanding the importance of whole foods in their dog's diet. They're moving away from kibble. Like our kibble line is not growing. Our raw cooked, most of it is cooked. And the thing people don't understand about raw is that most of the raw foods on the market, because when some people hear about raw, they get really afraid of bacteria. Right. Most of them have some sort of a kill step in there for the bacteria. Most of the companies do that. And the thing about pet food is the FDA is over our pet food. The USDA is over our food. Okay. Our food is allowed to have so much bacteria, hair, things like that. In pet food, there's a zero tolerance for bacteria. The FDA has implemented a zero tolerance. And food is not sterile, so that's a big chore for the companies. Sure. So a lot of them have implemented, like fermented goat milk. There's also a fermented food. And if anybody knows anything about fermenting, that's how a lot of cultures preserved their foods and kept them free of bacteria, was fermenting their foods when they didn't have refrigeration.
Which is, again, and the fermentation process is also great. Again, just the process itself is great for your pet's gut.
Right.
It comes back. It comes full circle as to how good all of this whole process is, as well as the ingredients are for your pet.
And each food has got different, species of probiotics. So when you can incorporate all different kinds of probiotic, fermented foods and things, it's great for us. I drive my husband crazy because I have so many different fermented things in my refrigerator. And he's like, we have no room for our food.
Is this okay to eat? Well, folks, if Karen, if folks want to reach you, how is the best way? I mean, let's talk about either making an appointment for your pet or for you to talk to Karen about your pet.
I can usually talk to people off the cuff. They come in.
Okay.
Sometimes if I have a really super busy day, I tend to book myself late for that reason. As far as the grooming appointments for myself personally, I have another groomer that is my main groomer, but so a lot of times I can talk off the cuff. They can call. Sometimes I have to call them back. As far as grooming appointments, and I'm going to speak on behalf of all the groomers in this whole state, actually, there are a lot of dogs to groom out there, and so we are all very, very, very booked up. So please don't wait until your dog is really hot and panting to call. Like, call your groomer today to make your appointment, because many of us are booked way out.
Good to know. Good to know. And just once again, folks, she is located in the Willow Tree Plaza, which is what's in there? Harbor Freight and
Panda Garden.
Panda Garden, yeah, near Panda Garden, 142 South Willow. So just know that you can stop in and chat with her and just see all the things, all the amazing foods that she has there, and toys and
treats
and treats, everything. So it's good. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We just have a minute left, I think. So, Sarah, you want to just quick talk about some kitten needs?
Yeah, so here at the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter, we've got a great foster program because every shelter around the Southeast is inundated with lots and lots of kittens this time of year. So with our foster program, we send these cats out to homes, and we like to send supplies with them. So we always need dry or canned kitten food, powdered milk replacer, any of the bowls, any of the vessels that it takes to deliver this stuff, litter pans, non-clumping cat litter. I mean, there is just a plethora, if you can think of it, that a cat would need.
Right.
We need it right now, as well as every shelter does.
Right. Well, that is our show for today. You know, we're excited to tell you that if you should miss an episode of Let's Talk Pets, or want to tell a friend about a particular episode, you can now catch each episode at any time on a YouTube channel. It's just go to youtube.com/CPC, that stands for Cookeville Putnam County Friends of Animals, and look for the Let's Talk Pets episode. So it's a fun thing. So that is our show for today. Many thanks again to you, Karen, for being here with us. Folks, if you have any questions or comments, please email them to us at putnamcountypets@gmail.com. We're wishing everyone a perfect weekend and hope you'll join us here next Saturday, 10 a.m. and Sunday, 2:30 p.m. on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub.
Friends of Cookeville Putnam County Animals is a 501c3 nonprofit, all-volunteer support group for the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter. For more information, visit www.friendsofcpcanimals.org.